Good afternoon, fourth graders. It's Mrs. Nash, and I'm here to talk to you about the least common multiple. Okay, this is one of the skills that you're going to be practicing today on IXL. Okay, so before we begin, I want to do just a little bit of review with you. All right, what is a multiple? Okay, if you remember a few months ago, we talked about a multiple is a product of a factor and its counting number. So when I look at a multiplication equation, the factor is the number that I multiply to get the product, which is an answer to a multiplication problem. So when I'm talking about multiples, I'm actually talking about the answer to a multiplication problem is what I'm looking at. Okay, so when I find a multiple of a number, okay, if I look at the factor, so let's look at the factor 5, okay? So when I'm thinking of multiples, I look at multiples of 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay, essentially I'm just counting by 5s. That's what we've done in class when we found multiples, okay? So if you look here, in my head, I think 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 4 is 20. When I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4 and multiplying by 5, that's how I get the multiples 5, 10, 15, 20. All right, so we're going to go over the steps now to find the least common multiple, okay? The first step when I'm looking at my set of numbers is I need to list the multiples of each number. So all you're going to do is you're going to skip count by that number. The second thing you're going to need to do is I want you to circle the numbers or the multiples in that list that are the same, okay? Last thing that you're going to do is then you need to identify the common multiple that is the smallest, okay? This will give you your least common multiple, or we call this the LCM. All right, so for example, if I have the numbers 5 and 4, okay, our first step is that we list the multiples of each number. So 5, I'm going to count by 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, I could go on, okay? You probably only need to list about the first 6 or 7 multiples, all right? And then the number 4, I have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. All right, step 2, once I've listed those multiples, is I'm going to identify the common multiple, okay? So if I look at the list that I just created, the number 20 is the same in both of those lists. So I'm going to circle the number 20, okay? And then step 3 is I want to identify the least common multiple. Now in this case, in both of the lists that I've created, the same number happens to be the smallest number. I only have one common multiple in this list, so 20 would be the LCM in this case, okay? But let's take a look at what happens when I have more than one common multiple in a list, okay? And I'm gonna make this one a little harder. We're gonna work with 3 numbers on this one, okay? So the numbers that I'm looking at right now are the numbers 2, 4, and 8, okay? So step 1, we wanna make sure that we list the multiples of each number. So for the number 2, you're gonna see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and 20. For the number 4, I see 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. And for the number 8, I see 8, 16, 24, 32, and 40. Now, once I've listed those multiples, our second step is that we're going to circle, or we're identifying those common multiples. Okay, so if I look at my list, I have the number 8 and the number 16 in common on both of these lists. So in this case, my common multiples are going to be 8 and 16. All right, our third step is that we want to identify the least common multiple, or the LCM. So if I look at my list, I had 8 and 16 listed as common multiples, but my LCM, or the common multiple that is the smallest, is the number 8. So for the numbers 2, 4, and 8, 8 would be the least common multiple. All right, Here's what I would like you to do, fourth graders. You're going to log on to IXL now, okay? I want you in your search bar to type in BMQ. Okay, that's going to lead you to a skill that says least common multiple. It's going to pull up a fifth grade level skill in math. Don't let that freak you out. We've done this skill in class. You guys all know how to do it. Most of you do a wonderful job of this. It's just time for us to practice this skill so it stays fresh in our brain. Take care, fourth graders, and I'll talk to you soon.